See if we did. Did you get the join on your phone?
What's that? Notification?
Yeah.
Come on.
All right. Just hit it. See if everything is too wild.
Come on, cuz.
All right. All right. Anybody got any questions?
No, I don't want no question.
That delay is sick.
Yeah, it's always like that. Second, let me get it in the Jacksonville Hebrew Israelites room. Let me get it up in there. Sometimes the brother might not even grab it after the class. It's there nonetheless. What you was laughing at, when you pulled the joint up? What you was laughing at?
Trying to see if it was in real time or not.
Nah, it wasn't. It's a little delayed.
There's a lot of delay, but you were doing the same thing.
Oh, okay. So you was trying to figure it out. All right. No sweat. All right. So this is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. I am Priest and Officer Kazak Damar, ISUPK, Jacksonville, Florida. We broadcasting live out of Brentwood Library here from 6 to 8. Monday night milk class was started for people who just coming into the truth or trying to take that next step and become officers and learn, sisters who trying to figure this thing out. And it gives you the basis of what we teach here at the Israelite School so that you will not be confounded by some Christian or some fake Israelite got to say about what we actually teach in the school. All right. How his class started is basically out of a while back, saw a video where I believe it was Captain Maokwab. I still haven't went back and watched the video, but I believe it was Captain Maokwab was out street teaching on the streets, and some dudes from GMS come up and they start asking questions about what we was teaching, trying to say that we ain't had the truth or whatever the case may be. Brother end up Kamal Quab, or I think it was Kamal Quab. I keep saying it's Kamal Quab. I hope it is. The brother end up cutting him, and he was like, you know, do you know that y'all teach that you can rape little girls? Now here this brother is in the group and don't even know that his elders is teaching that you can rape little girls. You know what I'm saying? Because you just hanging out with somebody and you don't know the doctrine of what they actually teaching, and you think it's all good. It's all the same. All Israelites really well, they not. So what we try to do here is give you the basis of what we teach in the school so that you'll be able to understand what it is we teach and not get caught up in trying to do what everybody else do. Trooper, go ahead and give me the first.
First Corinthians 3, verse 2. I have fed you with milk and not with meat. I have fed you with milk. Meat.
So class, this is Paul talking to the Israelites in Corinth, saying, I have fed you with milk and not with meat. Now, is he talking about literal food when he's talking about this or breaking? Absolutely not. What he's talking about, he will go into a little bit by it's a metaphor for something, and it's talking about you know, the basic knowledge. Go ahead.
For him, neither yet now are you able.
And point, you wasn't able to bear all of that. Everybody want to be deep when it comes to teaching this word. Everybody want to, the whole point of the job is to simplify everything. If you can't go faith in what you believe in to a 3-year-old kid, you know what I'm saying, then you don't really understand what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? It's just, the metaphor is, instead of trying big deals about the truth, get the basis first. The reason why that's important, because if you don't understand the basis, how you gonna be understand, you know, this thing, like you, all kinds of people would say, but if you really don't understand it, you don't know what you're following. You really just, you know what I'm saying, getting yourself lost, as the scriptures say, tossed to and fro with different doctrine and never coming into the knowledge of the truth. So what Paul is breaking down to the Corinthians, he said, I have fed you with milk and not, I ain't giving you meaty that you got to actually think about and go on word. This is very, very clear what the Lord wants you to do, what the Lord is looking for men to do. You know what I'm saying? Gotta be like that. Like people want to tell you like they got some kind of mysteries to the keys of heaven and all of that stuff. Well, the Lord have to put that kind of stuff on you, something deep, something real heavy that you, he's got to be with. Nobody ain't gonna understand what you're talking about. What our people need is tools that's gonna fix them, to get them off crack, to get them, stop them from smoking weed, to get them off any type of addiction, different things that they want to do, to get them to stop being a whore, to get them to stop dealing with whores. This is the things that we need, and it's right there in the Bible. This is the milk of what we teach. The reason why is because all of that extra stuff, you can get that later. But this is the first thing, you know, give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. This is the first thing you need to know before you even do anything. Like you coming into the knowledge of the truth. I know in the church, you usually have these preachers, they want to break down different things. And you talk to these Egyptologists, everybody want to bring down the levels of, you know what I'm saying, they'll break it down to you and be like, you know, the esoteric and this and that and the other, man. How is this going to fix our people? The Lord gave it to us in a simplistic way when Christ was breaking it down, that all of these scribes and these Pharisees who were so smart, who was in, when he broke it down to them, it's simple. It's simple. Like, all right, all of these laws, this is what it's really talking about. You got it?
Well, come on.
Go ahead and read it for me.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, he got to yell it. They don't get us kicked out of the library. Go ahead.
Chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole
matter. This means out of everything that this brother was bringing out in this book, all of this stuff, all of it is wisdom, all of it to do things with. But let us hear the end of all of it. Matter of fact, go back up one. Let's go.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished. Of me, there is no end.
Be admonished. What does the word admonished mean? Somebody give me the definition of it. Get that for me, priest. Admonished. And just so you know, if you ain't never been in this class before, this is what we do. We'll go down and we'll break it down to its smallest compound in order for somebody to be able to understand it, because a lot of the things that these people get wrong, first of all, they don't know the word. They don't know what the words mean. So they just guess. You got that in the shop? Oh, Salakia. Hold on 1 second. 1 second now. What was that?
I said you was breaking up, Adawan. I could hardly hear you.
All right, get me We at Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. I need the definition for the word admonish. If you ain't in, let me know. I can get it.
Yeah, could you give me the scripture again, Ottawa?
Just go ahead and get me the definition for admonish. The scripture is Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. What I need you to do is pull it back up on your phone and YouTube, see if it's anybody in the chat, if anybody got any questions. You got it?
I'm trying to get it right now, Ottawa.
All right, no problem. You got it? Go ahead and read it one more time while the brother getting the definition.
Come on. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be it of making many books, there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh.
So when you looking at and reading and going through all this information, trying to dissect it, trying to be the smartest nigga in the world, you know, trying to be so heavy and all of this other stuff, when this thing is very simple. Word admonish, you got. What does it say?
Admonish, warn, or reprimand someone's family. I don't know if that's the right one. I don't see it in the
A-D.
I don't see it in the
Admonish. So what I got it is a definition. Hold on one second. Warned or reprimand someone's family. That's what that means, right? Advised or urged. That's what you had? Officer in the shop. That's what you. What it means is to be warned. He's warning you. So he's saying, be warned. The making of many books, there's no end. There is no amount. Like right now, you got a phone in your hand. You can go ahead and talk to Siri, it is, and ask any question that you would like to ask, and she's gonna give you an answer. Now, whether that answer is fair and they done put in there for to come up with, that might be two things. But all of that, we're in the information age, and you can get all the information you. Well, what he is telling you right here is be warned that there is no end to all this information. The making of you can read one gonna get you weary. Because now you have to decipher through what's real, what's the truth, and what is not. And you may not be able to do that. So what you'll do is exactly what most go with. What they feel that they agree with. Well, the Bible ain't like. You matter whether or not you feel it. It don't matter whether or not it's what the Lord wants. And there is no end to the amount of information that you can take in, but all it's going to do is be weariness of the flesh. Read it again.
12, verse 12. By of in many books, there's and much study is a weariness.
Study is a weariness of the flesh, right?
Verse 13. Let us say the conclusion of the whole matter.
This is the conclusion. This is the end. Go ahead.
Power.
Fear the power.
And keep his commandments.
And keep him on.
For this is the whole.
The fear of the Lord is. What is and you let it or do that. So is get the same. I might out on the same. Sure, you guys who Christ came for. The Jews being, how to deal with family, with coming into the truth. And you want to do it anybody have on that. All right. Remember, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. And we'll go ahead and get into the topic now. I believe what happens, this class normally starts at 7 o'clock. So we will get a few more at time, or whatever the case may be. Where's my joint? This one right here is about being following. And if you're going to come into the truth, you got tremendous amount of examples that the Lord gave us. A tremendous amount of examples that the Lord gave us about men of the Lord who were great men, who were recognized as such, and who these are the type of men you want to follow, right? You don't want to be, you can go out here and follow become that or try to become that. That's what most people is doing. They got money. You want to be like, what's the dude name? Scarface. You know what I'm saying? And show out like that or shoot. You want to go out, brothers, be that you can in his life. And the best thing you could learn how to do when you come into the truth is to learn who the hell George was, who Isaiah was, who Christ was, who was Moses, who was all these men, and what were they doing, and what was the point in, right? Because if you don't understand that position is, we get a second. Jeremiah chapter 6. See what go ahead. That's on the line to go ahead and not you, not you. Anybody else? All right, go ahead, priest. Who I wanted to read. Go ahead. You got Officer in the shot. You got.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Thus said, stand ye in the way and ask full path.
What it says in Jeremiah, it says, thus saith the Most High, right? So this is the most, read it again.
Thus saith the Most High, stand in the way.
Right. Keep going.
Where is the good way? And walk therein. And shall find rest for your souls. But we will not walk therein.
So this is Israel with their stubborn, stiff neck behind. What is telling you? Look at all these things that was Bible. And these are this is your records. Like this history, he has all type of different things to revert back and say, well, my uncle was a Viking. We did this, that, the slavery. I'm going to tell you who you are, what your job was earth for, where are you supposed to be in the future, and they'll have accomplished. So what is standing in the way, right? As no past. What we supposed to be looking to do, how we supposed to be living our life. It's for what we supposed to be doing. Man to piss the Lord off, and how for them. So if you got all this information at your fingertips, you know what to do, what not to do. And if you don't, then you need to ask for the old way. That's the whole point of coming to class. That's the whole point of doing and rehearsing the righteous acts. We want to be able to go and keep the Passover the same way that Moses them kept the Passover, same way that Christ kept the Passover. We want to be able to build up some of these. How did this man had 12 kids from 4 wives and the Lord blessed him? God, you know what I'm saying? We can barely keep one wife and the Lord won't bless us. We got to figure out what these people is doing. This is what it's talking about. Stand over. Where's the good way? That's the good way. Right now, what we living in is we are American. We are learning to be more like the African. Different things. Oh yeah, let's take some notes from the Chinese man, whatever the case may be. The Bible say that that's not what we should be doing. Jeremiah 10:2 says, learn not the way of the heathen. So what should we be learning? The making of many books is weariness of the flesh is what we just read, right? So it's telling you ain't got to read a whole lot of books. It also says the ways of the heathen and should be learning these old ways and the old paths. And where is that found at? Right here. He said, we're in the good way. This is the good way. And walk in it. And you shall find rest. Why we got stress and anxiety and high blood pressure and all these different things going on, if we was walking in the ways that the Lord told us to, we would have none of these problems. But here's Israel. But they said, we will not walk therein. Right? Go to verse 7.
Another one, verse 17. Also, I set watchmen over you.
The Lord does a great thing in and putting people over us to protect us. Stupid. Even when we ignorant, even when we don't, the Lord will put man in a position to where watch ahead. The sound of the trumpet. Go ahead. There's an attention to the trumpets. The Lord that set watchmen over you. He set men over you in order for you to be able to know what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be doing it, and to warn you. We on these streets warning the people, and they saying, nah, I don't really think I'm not supposed to eat pork. I don't really think I got to stop being a whore. I don't really think I got to stop sleeping with whores. Smoking weed ain't that bad. All of these telling you that the Lord says stop doing, you rather continue to walk in the ways now. And the ways of now are not the old ways that you walk in, and they're not going to lead the rest. This ain't put this book for you to be enslaved like some people who don't believe in the Bible believe. The Lord put this book in your hand and shout and do all this other stuff. This is a book of guidance that teaches you how to please the Most High Power, who is the most powerful power on the face of the earth. All right? So this stuff ain't just here for no reason. Why do we have this information in our hands? It's so that we can read about these people, and through this, it'll teach us. Now, what's the precept for what I'm saying? Anybody? Y'all don't know it? All right. Get somebody got it? All right.
What was the question?
What is the precept for what I'm saying? I'm saying that the importance of the Bible. Can y'all hear me clearly?
I can hear you,
all right. I'm saying that the Bible wasn't a book that was just created for you to read like you're reading a story. This information is here for us to be able to take it and use it and learn from Noah, learn from Yahweh, learn from Moses. What was the brother's name? Was supposed to go to Jonah. Learn from Jonah.
I know the precept you're talking about. It's
what does it say?
But this is for
Christ, Most High in Christ. It's Romans 10, verse 4. Stuff ain't the Lord. They burnt our records. They burnt our book. These records somehow all of that. They just go out in the middle of nowhere where Esau hadn't been and find the Dead Sea Scrolls. On the Egyptian walls where we were enemies in there, and they find things that the Bible already told us happened. They verify certain things in his story based on the scriptures that's in the Bible, and they have to be like, okay, this is what we know happened in history, and this is what the Bible said about it, which tells you that our power is the only true power.
Romans chapter 15. For whatsoever things were written for our learning, that we through pain of the scriptures might have hope.
So this is cutting. This cutting that any Christian is talking about the old laws are done away with. Christ said he ain't come to change none of that. This is Paul right here. When showing all statutes and commandments what's really, I don't know. When Paul is breaking it down, whatsoever things were aforetime, before now, it was written for us to learn from this information, patience and comfort in the scriptures. This is what's going to give us hope. The fact that the Lord came and got out of Egypt and that captivity gives us hope that he'll come get us out of this captivity under Donald Trump. The fact that the Lord came and got the Israelites out of Assyrian captivity under Cyrus, under Babylon, under all of these different things, gives us hope that he'll come get us out of this American captivity. Everybody understand, right? It's not just here for no reason. So let's go through some of it. See what we got here. Is there any more to that?
Wow.
All right. See what we got. 1 Peter chapter 5. Let's get that. If anybody got any questions, go ahead and ask them. First Peter chapter 5, verse 1. Go ahead.
Come. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 1. I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of.
You sure that's 1 Peter chapter 5?
Come.
That's chapter 4.
Chapter 5, right? Yeah.
I don't think up here. It says, mine says the elders which are among you, I exhort. It don't say that?
It starts off with I exhort, then it goes to the elders. I guess it's written differently.
Who am also an elder, right?
And also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed.
Go ahead.
That's it all along.
All right, read it again, Yamayan.
Come. 1 Peter chapter verse 1. I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of the Mashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed.
Keep going.
Come. Verse 2. Feed the flock of the power which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind.
All right. So it says, the elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder. This is Peter saying he is an elder and he is exhorting the men that's above him. It's no different than you being an officer, you exhorting a man giving you reverence or saying that, you know, you are above him, and then you have men above you, and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker in the glory that shall be revealed. So this is to the people that he's talking to. He's saying, feed the flock of the power which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, right? Feed the flock of the power which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint. What does he mean by not by constraint?
So
go ahead.
Not by force. Or by...
That's a strong, so they can hear you. Not, you said not by force?
Not by force.
Anybody else got an answer? Go ahead.
Yeah. So would he be saying like how we always say, you know, are more spiritual, not physical?
No, that's a little too deep. What the brother said, what Trooper Yamayan said was a little bit more on it. It's like not like nobody gotta make you do it. Feed the flock of the power. Go ahead and do this work, and don't do it like somebody is pushing you or making. You know how you get people that might want to come in here and they get an order and they acting all a certain type of way about it, like I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know how in the church, I don't know if y'all know, but in the church they be like the Lord loves or something like that. Like they'll tell you to not be acting a certain type of way when you giving your money. Well, this is what he's talking about when he's talking about putting in this work. You know what I'm saying? You feeling like you don't really want to do it. Like, I'd rather be doing something else. Well, go do something else then. What he's saying is if you're going to come in here and you're going to gain rank and you're going to be an elder, this brother as an elder, as a man with some rank, he's saying, do your job, feed the flock which is among you. Taking the oversight there, overlook everything, and don't do it by constraint. Right behind it, it says, but willingly. If you don't really love this work and love doing what you have to do for the Most High, you're in the wrong place. Not for filthy lucre like but a ready mind. What's filthy lucre? Somebody tell me. Come on, man. It's the milk class. Y'all ain't with me? Go ahead.
Filthy lucre would probably be like someone who is like who loves money, like a glutton.
Just filthy lucre. What does lucre is money, and what's filthy? It's dirty money, right?
Right.
Came out that the black churches have collected over $420 billion over the last 30 years in America. It ain't go back into the neighborhoods. It ain't help fix no addictions. It ain't help fix no problems. Where it went? It went on Pastor Pochop, brand new Gators, his Cadillac, you know what I'm saying? And his R.P. Harvey's and all of this other money went. Big fish tanks they put in the quote sanctuary and all of this other stuff. This is where the money went. It didn't help nobody. They collected that money from the children of the Most High and they didn't use it. Well, this is what he's talking about. Do this work, right? Don't do it like you don't want it or whatever the case may be, but do it willingly. Don't do it for the money. Now, if you're doing it for the money, you're definitely in the wrong place. Because right here, we giving our lives, we giving our money, we giving every work of the Lord. We ain't gaining nothing off of this. But of a ready mind. Go ahead to verse 3.
Verse 3. Neither as being lords over the power's heritage, but being examples to the flock.
Neither as being lords or ones over the Lord's heritage, but being examples to the flock. One thing y'all will learn, and y'all may not know this, but y'all go to the Passover, or you go to like a high holy day, or you go to a cookout or something like that, and you get around brothers who got rank in this school, you're going to realize that these brothers are some of the most humble brothers that you ever going to meet. Now, these brothers have men and women that will call them lords, right? That give them that respect. But yet, no, it's never for you to try to take advantage of it better than another man. What you're supposed to do when you have men that call you Lord and give you that respect is be an example to the flock. Show them what they're supposed to be like in order to get that rank, in order to get that respect. Don't make it seem like you in charge of who get to make it in the kingdom or not, because it ain't your damn call. Everybody following me, right? All right. Let me show you how like an example is. We'll go to some examples of men that were great men that had the job to be examples. Go ahead and give me Isaiah 11 and 10. You there, Yamayan? All right, go ahead and read it for me.
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 10. And in that day of judgment shall stand for an ensign of the people.
Remember, we broke this down, I think it was last week. And in that day shall be a root of Jesse that shall sign for the people. Anybody remember what that word inside? Matter of fact, General Muhammad just broke this down too, didn't he? Anybody remember what that word inside means? Seriously? Take the N off of it. Take the N off of it. What does it mean? Y'all ain't with me today. All right. Inside. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's like a sign.
A sign. Remember in the definition it says a banner. Something that you would look to, right? This is the prophet. It says that in that day there shall be a root of Jesse who shall stand for a standard of the people. Keep reading. Verse 10.
To it shall seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
To it shall be. To what is the it? The it is him. The it is the sign. The it is the standard. To this standard shall the Gentiles seek. And we did break down that it was talking about Israelites when it was talking about the Gentiles was going to seek it. If you don't believe that, go to verse 11. Oh, keep reading. We ain't going to jump the gun.
Come. Verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day excuse me, that the Lord shall set his hand again, the second time, to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
So this is a man with some rank, right? This is the man who the Lord put in order to be one of them watchmen that it was talking about in Jeremiah, to come and warn the people. He also was ready to be going to be the king and reign, but he's also the best example of what we're supposed to be as Israelites. How did Christ know how to do this? Because we already had the law, statutes, and commandments, and he also had the Spirit of the Most High on him. So it should come to pass, set his hand again the second time, having the remnant of his people that shall be left from Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and the islands of the sea. All of these places may have different names at this point. The point is he's recovering his people from all these laws. These are the Gentiles it was talking about. It says it right here in verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign, which is that example for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners. This is what Christ is, Christ, and him being a man to follow. What you have to learn if you're going to be in this truth is how to be an example, and how to be an example by following example. Who's right? Give me Hebrews chapter 2, verse 4. It's real simple. Go ahead. What you mean?
Like, we don't want to follow people that are like calling themselves African Americans or, you know, or other nations or whatever, and they're following other things instead of following what, you know, the Most High laid down for us.
No, my question was, who are the, I said, in order to be in the truth, what you have to do is learn how to be an example by following an example. Let's say I get on here and I teach a class, right? And I take the same, when I was talking about, I was asking Officer Shawar to go over the 12 tribes chart breakdown, right? And he goes over and I'm like, I got all of these notes, almost the exact same way he's saying it. I wish I could show it in it, like he's just going over the same class again. If I come in, I teach it, I'm going to teach it the exact same way he taught it. He's teaching it the exact same way that Captain Tazariak taught it. Captain Tazariak teaching the same way that General Haas taught it. You understand? All the way up to General Yohana, who's teaching it the same way the men that taught him. He was bringing out was what was written aforetime. We're doing the same business and following the example of Paul, who was following the example of Christ, who was following the example of the men that came before him. You understand? This is what the truth is all about. Remember the first verse we pulled out where it says, search for the old ways, ask for the old ways. The whole point is not to water down the truth. Don't get emotional with this truth. It don't matter about how you feel about it. We're going to do what the men that came before us did, because that's what got us in his change in our life. That's showing us how to be men. If they were soft with it, you know what I'm saying, half of us wouldn't even never came in here. The problem is in the Christian church, they have a zeal, but they don't know how to do it the right way, not according to knowledge. And part of it is keeping your masculinity if you're a man, keeping your femininity if you're a woman. These are the old ways. Now everything's mixed up. You know, they had this thing that come out where they say they're going to have gender free. They're going to call them they babies. You're going to call them they babies. You can't call a baby a him or a her until they old enough to decide what gender they want to be. And yet they get mad at us when we say the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. Don't blame me. I ain't the one trying to make your baby a they. I call for a scripture. Go ahead and read it out. Tell them where you at. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14. For as much then, as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same.
Who is this talking about? As I said, milk class is interactive. Let me go back to the Facebook real quick and put the number in there, because I ain't put the number on. I just put the YouTube on there. Maybe that's what's wrong. Oh, it's also 10 minutes till everybody who did not get the message from Officer the shock today that the class was at 6 o'clock because we had the Brentwood Library over here in the hood. And can't stay out too late. Now, this class is interactive. That means I want answers when I ask these questions. Who is this talking about in Hebrews chapter 2? Don't nobody know? It says, for as much then as the children are partakers of blood, he also himself likewise took part in the same. Somebody take a guess. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's talking about Yahushua.
This is talking about Yahushua. Search the scriptures and you'll find that they was talking about me. He also likewise took part in the same. Keep reading. Now we know who the he is. Read it over. Read it again.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil.
The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? The Most High gave Satan the power to destroy those people who did not want to listen and do what the Lord says to do. Well, Christ came and took part and became just like you. For as much as the children were partakers of flesh and blood, meaning he was born, he also took part of the same. Even though he had the Spirit of the Lord on him, he was a man just like you. He was a person just like you, had a mom and a father just like you, that through death, he might destroy him that had power over death. He took the curses that the Lord was putting on Israel himself. But he gave his life to teach the law, statutes, and commandments, to teach Israel that they were the people and that salvation was of the Jews and that they should stop what they're doing and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, what brotherhood out of us, and all of the things that Yahweh Shah taught. He gave his life to teach those things so that through that, he might destroy him that had power over the devil, which is the curses. That is the devil. In our time, that is the white man. Go ahead to verse 15.
Verse 15. And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage.
See, here's the thing, right? You got to really fear death and fear what's going to happen to you if you're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Fear is given by the Lord. That is not something that the Lord gave you. You got that fear because you wasn't doing what the Lord said to do. So when Christ came, he gave us a way out of that fear by us being following his example and his lead of living a life without breaking any laws. Then we don't have anything to fear. So therefore we are delivered. He delivered us, those people who feared the death, which had us in a lifetime of bondage. See, we was doing these things and knowing that there was going to be a priest come around and chop your head off and doing this, that, or the other. Therefore, we were never able to operate in the spirit of the Lord. We were never able to do what he wanted us to do from a spiritual perspective. Yeah, you might have kept it, but you was doing it for the wrong reason. Christ, the reason that we should be doing it is out of our love for the Most High. Keep reading.
Verse 16. For verily, he took not on him the nature of angels.
Wait a minute. I thought that he was the half man, half God, half amazing. It said, read it again.
For verily, he took not on him the nature of
this
angels.
Is what totally breaks down birth, the whole Jesus is God, breaks all of this down in Hebrews 2. For verily, he took not on the nature of angels. The angels are those who cannot break laws. They do exactly what the Lord said. Now, when we say Christ never broke a law, the reason that's a man, he was in flesh, just like you was in flesh. He suffered and was tempted just like you was tempted. He did not take on the nature of angels where he couldn't break a law. But what did he take on?
But he took on him the seed of Abraham.
The seed of Abraham. And if you know anything about these people that came out of Abraham's seed, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham and we broke it. The Lord made a covenant with Abraham's son and we broke it. The Lord made a covenant with King David and we broke it. Every time the Lord made a covenant with us, we broke it. And that's another class we'll have to go into about all these different covenants. Because he go back as far as with Adam, he made one, and with Noah, he made one, and all of these different things. And we broke them all. Well, Christ didn't take on the nature of angels, which he would have not been able to. He took on the seed of Abraham. Keep reading now.
One comment. Verse 17. Wherefore, in all things, it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren.
Like unto his what?
His brethren.
Like unto his what?
His brethren.
That wait a minute, not so fast. Who is this talking about? Go ahead.
Yahushua.
This talking about Yahushua. Now, who is Yahushua's brethren? Go ahead.
The men of Israel.
Men of Israel. Precept.
Is it is it who's my brother? Who's that brother? Who's that?
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even get that one. He said, the brother said, who is my brother? Who is my mother? That's a good one. I wasn't thinking about that one. We'll get that one. It's another precept. Anybody got the other precept?
Salakia. Could be hold on. Could it be 1 John? I think that's the one I'm
1 John 4:20. When you've done this.
Oh no, it's Salakia, sir.
What?
If a man say I love God and hated his brother,
okay. The one I was thinking is in Matthew 23. Let's go ahead and get that one first. Matthew 23. Let's see.
Okay, so what verse?
Verse 7. No, verse 8. Go to verse 8.
Matthew 23, verse 8. But be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren.
You see that? So wait a minute. You go to church every Sunday and worship a man that never asked to be worshiped, that never asked to be put up like this big pedestal. All he did was the work of the Lord. Now, see, here's the thing. Certain men earn rank and earn authority in the earth by the Lord giving them that authority, right? But they don't ask for it. The point is, when you come in here, you looking for rank, you looking for a man to raise you up and all of this, you in here for the wrong reason. Therefore, is to humble yourself. To humble yourself, and then you will be raised up. That's scripture. From this precept, you got the precept. Oh, that one. Read that again.
Sir. Matthew 23, verse 8. But be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren.
You see that? Even Christ and all y'all are brethren. And he was talking to Israelites. Give me Matthew chapter 12, verse 48. You got it?
I won't call it, sir.
Go ahead.
Matthew 12.
Yep.
Verse 48.
Yep.
But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren.
There you go. So those are the two scriptures that prove that us and Christ are brothers. Our brother, when he's talking about the men of Israel, when it says that it behooved him to be like his brethren. Now let's go back to Hebrews chapter 2. Let's go back to Hebrews chapter 2. And verse 17. Who was reading? That was Trooper Yamayan. That was you reading up? Yeah. Hebrews 2 and 17.
I'm here.
I just messaged.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 17. Wherefore, in all things, it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren.
It says, in all things, it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren. Now we know who his brethren is. So that means that Christ didn't take on him the seed of, and it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, the other who are from the seed of Abraham. All right, keep going.
That he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to the power.
Wait 1 second. See, this is what it's saying. He had to be normal and be made like them so that he would be a merciful and faithful high priest. The high priest is raised up. He is high ranking, right? So he had to become normal. He had to be just like his brother, understand how to deal with them brothers pertaining to the power. Also, keep going.
The sins of the people.
So if Christ was half man, half God, how reconcile man back the children of he was not a man himself. Verse 18.
For in that he himself suffered being tempted, he is able them that are tempted.
All right, so this is what we're talking about. I know some people didn't get the memo, but we started class at 6 o'clock. We're talking about following one. And right, Christ, who is the example of what we're supposed to be. We went over that said, learn the old ways. In Jeremiah, it said, ask for the old ways. In Romans 15, it said that what was written, learning. So now we talking about Christ. He didn't take on him the nature of angels. He became just like his brothers so that he could understand what it felt like to be us. And that is why he was able to be. The point I'm bringing out is that brothers who got rank in his school, conversation with Commanding General Yohana, he is going like a man. He's not going to belittle you or try to make you feel down like he is the king of the universe or like he's God himself. He is one of the most humble brothers I ever met. And he runs all of Israel right now. That's the power that was given to him by the Most High. There's plenty of brothers that came in this school and that tried to get rank, and some of them actually get it. And they end up leaving the school because they're here for the wrong reason. All into that. Be just like Yahweh Shah. Even if you look and Lord, what it said, don't be lords over the God's kingdom, right? But be an example. So you have to learn how to get rank in this school. Give me 1 John. Did we read it? Yeah, we were right. Give me 1 John chapter 2. We can start at verse 5. Go ahead.
I got it. I don't want, but I had a question. What you said the topic was again?
The topic was being an example by following an example.
Out of my car.
This truth don't belong to Kazak. This to, Officer Shawoyala or Commanding General Yohana. This truth don't even belong to Yahweh Shai. This is the word of the Most High. This is the work of the Most High, right? And those men that came before us that did it, we got to do it just like they did or better. We either got to take it and do the exact way. Don't water it down. Don't soften it up. We got to stand strong in this truth because that's what the men that came before us did. Else all of us would be somewhere locked up, about to get shot or whatever because we didn't have no to and say this is how we're supposed to live our life. Everybody understand, right? All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Yamayan. Go ahead. Or Trey, you had it? All right, go ahead.
1 John chapter 2, verse 3.
Verse 5.
1 John chapter 2, verse 5. But who so keepeth his word? In him, verily, is the love of the power perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him.
Yeah.
Verse 6. He that saith he abide in him ought himself also to walk, even as he walked.
So this is what this has to do with it. Here this is in the New Testament, and it's saying, he that say that he abideth in him, and it's talking about the Spirit of Christ. It's talking about the Spirit of the Most High, right? Which is the same Spirit. You saying that the Holy Spirit abided in you, well, you ought to walk the same way Christ walked. Christ kept the Passover, so you better keep it too. Christ ain't deal with no whores, so you better not deal with none either. Christ didn't eat no pork, so you better not either. Christ kept the law, so you should too. Everybody get that, right? This is your example. He is the standard. He is the sign. He is the banner. He is the ensign that the Most High sent for us, Israelites, to learn how to please him. So if we gonna do and say that we are abiding in the truth, then we gotta walk like the men once walked, mainly Yahweh Shai. Go to verse 7.
1 John chapter 2, verse 7. I write no new commandment unto you.
Now this is in the New Testament. This is in the New Testament, right? They say, well, Christ got a new law, a new commandment that he gave you, and the old laws are done away. Read it again.
Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you.
I write no new commandment unto you. So what are we supposed to follow? Keep going.
But an old commandment which ye had from the beginning.
The Lord was right when he gave it to Adam. It says the laws are just and holy and righteous. There wasn't nothing wrong with the commandments. There's something wrong with us. So when it comes down to us being redeemed, he not writing a new commandment. It's the same commandments we heard from the beginning. Go ahead.
The old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning.
Everybody get that, right? You ain't got to come up with nothing new. You ain't got to do nothing spectacular. All you got to do is do exactly what Noah did. Do exactly what King David did. Not the part where he sinned either. Do exactly what Yahweh Shai did. Do what Jonah did. Do what, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about the parts where they fell short. I'm talking about do what it takes to continue to push this truth, just like the men before you. Because if you look at these stories that was written aforetime for our learning, what you'll see is the men that did what the Lord said, they were blessed. The men that did not do what the Lord said, they were cursed. It's very simple. That's why it's all here. Give me Psalms chapter 51 and 17. This is where we going with this, right? In order to be like the men that came before you, you're going to have to sacrifice something. You're going to have to give up and deny yourself something. We talk about this all the time in the milk class because it's one of the most simple things that you have to learn and one of the hardest things to do. Christ was raising the dead and walking on water. Do you not think he could have had any woman he wanted? He had the sister washing his feet with her hair. That's cold. Any woman he wanted, but he must be about his father's business. He had things that he needed to do on the spiritual side, which he didn't have time to partake in, indulge. He came here to die and to be an example for it, right? So you think if Christ could sacrifice his entire life to do the work of the Father, and you being less of a man and still a man nonetheless, still chosen by the Most High, that you ain't got to sacrifice nothing? You didn't have a problem sacrificing a goat, sacrificing a bull, sacrificing a dove. What happened is those sacrifices had to change because they willingly gave those things and went right back out and sinned again. And the Lord started to despise their sacrifices because they was not coming to him the right way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Trey.
Psalm 51, verse 17. The sacrifices are a broken spirit.
The sacrifices of the power.
A broken spirit.
If you're gonna come into the truth, you better humble your damn self. I mean, like you get a little rank or something, you become an officer, you got troopers, or you got young men, or you got, you know what I'm saying, sisters. Don't abuse your power. Your sacrifice is to remain humble because the Lord resists the proud. Sacrifices of the power are a broken spirit. How does your spirit get broken?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Oppression.
Oppression is good. I was just going to say you had to go through something. Oppression is good. Yes, that's a good answer. Oppression will break your spirit because you can be the smartest man on the job. You can be the most professional. You can do all of this and a cracker still fire you out. Your sacrifice to the Most High is a broken spirit, meaning you have to go through something. Keep going.
A broken and a contrite heart.
The Most High is not going to the Most High is not going to despise a sacrifice when you sacrifice yourself and to do his will. Don't despise that. You bring him, you know what I'm saying, a goat and all of that, and then going back out and doing the same thing is not it. This is it given up by King was the man. Give me Deuteronomy 31. Let's go another brother that led by example. right? Go to another brother that sacrificed his life for the Most High. One of these brothers had a broken spirit, who had a contrite heart. Deuteronomy 31 and 1. Got it? Let's get it.
Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 1. And Moses went and spoke these words unto all Israel.
Moses went and spoke these words to who?
All Israel.
So he spoke these words to all Israel. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, I am 122 years old this day.
This is what happened. Moses did what the Lord said, and even under oppression of Pharaoh, even being raised in Pharaoh's house, leaving all of that, he was 122 years old, right? It was his birthday, but he wasn't celebrating. He used it as a time for him to speak to the congregation and the people of the Lord. Go ahead.
I can no more go out and come in. Also, the Most High have said unto me, thou shalt not go over this Jordan.
The Lord, Moses worked and did what the Lord told him to do. And then it was time to go over Jordan into the promised land. And he knew he wasn't going, right? But he was more concerned about the men under him. One of the things you got to do by being an example is you got to follow the men over you, right? You follow the men over you, and then you get in a position to where you teach the men under you how to do what you're doing. In other words, the generals in this school are teaching the captains how to become generals. The captains in this officers how to become captains. The officers in this school are teaching everybody else how to become officers. The sisters in this school should be teaching other sisters how to get them a priest and become sisters that can keep aid in the soldiers. Now, whether they just depends on who's over them and whether they had. Just like it is with the troopers, just like it is with the young men. Young man can come in and see a brother that's doing it the right way. If he chooses not to, he's not going to become nothing. But it's all about rank and order no matter what. So here's Moses saying he ain't going to be able to go in Jordan. But go ahead and go to verse 3.
Come. Verse 3. The Most High thy power, he will go over before thee, and he will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt possess them. And Joshua, he shall go over before thee, as the Most High have said.
All right, so what he's saying is, I ain't going to be able to do it. I done took this thing as far as I can take it. The Lord is going to raise up another man to do this job, and he's been trained well. What happens is, at some point, all of us are going to die and leave this earth. Your mark and men that you've raised up, the men that you've built, that come behind you. This is what Moses was talking about. You don't believe me, do you? Let's go to Joshua chapter 1. Joshua chapter 1, verse 1.
Joshua.
Go ahead.
Joshua.
You ain't no trooper.
Oh, Salaki.
Go ahead, priest. Go ahead, officer. I was talking to the trooper that was here, but you go ahead. You got it.
Joshua, chapter 1, verse 1. Now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Most High.
What was Moses?
A servant of the Most High.
Moses was the servant of the Most High. Go ahead.
It came to pass that the Most High spake to Joshua, the son sir.
What was Joshua's job at this point? It just said it right here. What is a minister?
A servant of the Most High.
Well, he was a servant of Moses, who was a servant of the Most High. A minister is a servant. Moses' assistant, Moses' servant, right? The man next to the man. And the Most High spoke to Joshua, Moses' servant, saying,
Verse 2, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore, arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all these people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Verse 3, every place that the sole of your feet shall touch, shall tread upon, that I have given unto you, as I said unto Moses.
all right, let's start right here. So here's the out. Joshua had a chance to watch Moses' example. Moses led, right? He had a example, a good example of what a man of the Lord was supposed to look like. Now, here's the thing. We often read about men like this, but we never understand that we can these men just by doing the same thing that they did. Let me repeat that. We look at these men in the Bible and understand that we can be great as these men just by doing what they did. Somebody give me the precept for that.
So lucky, sir.
Go ahead.
What? I just came in. What was the? You had asked for a precept of what, sir?
People read in the Bible, right? And they often look at brothers like Moses and Christ, and they never think in their mind that they can be as great as these men are just by doing what they did. I said, what's the precept that proves that they can? Go ahead.
Would it be I'm the way, the truth, and the light?
That's a good one. Based on what we're talking about as being an example by following one, definitely you can use that one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Would it be when Christ said, go and do greater things than I have done?
Most High in Christ, please. Absolutely. That's John chapter 14. Somebody get it for me. Go ahead. Go ahead, Trey.
I'm gonna let the trooper go ahead. I had enough.
That's different. John talking about. Go ahead, guys.
The same. I had the same one. That's what the young man, who's that? Trey.
He didn't even say which one he had.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying one, but I'm saying I want to know if you can use this precept I had to.
All right, let's go ahead and get John 14 first, and then we'll. Somebody got it? Go ahead.
John chapter 14. Sorry, what verse was it?
Verse 12.
Right. In verse 12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also. Greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father.
All right. So this is what he's talking about. Christ was saying this. Now, Christ had done healed the sick, the dead, walked on water, all of these miracles that he performed. Don't nobody really believe they can do it right now because they don't believe it's been turned into a fairy tale until you see the dead get raised. Stand it. You see a man doing something that is impossible, you don't believe in miracles. You say you do, but you really don't. Right in front of your eyes. This is what we talk for. Whatever hood you from, to be sitting with the Lord right now, where he could be doing anything else in the world, that's a miracle within itself. For some of us in this class to be alive, to not be locked up, to not be on some type of drug, stoned out our damn, be full of pills, full of coke, full of weed, whatever, right this minute, and on here trying to learn about how to come together, how to serve and please the Lord. That's a miracle. Dead being raised. That's being walked up. These things. Just think about it. And what's the joint? They got Instagram hoes and all this other stuff in there. Think about trying to get a man to detach his mind from that foolishness and that garbage and to try to live for the Lord in today's time. That's taking greater work. This is the reason why, man, to search the old ways to see how they did it and to do that. Different avenues of finding ways to do things that are contrary to what the Lord wants us to do. But Christ told us that we'll do than what he did. And if you believe on him, you could at least do what he was doing. All right. Trey, what was the other precept you had?
So I can
go ahead.
Same chapter, same book, John chapter 13, verse 15.
John chapter 13, verse 15. What does it say?
For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you.
Most High Christ. That's a good one as far as it's on topic for what we're talking about. Being an example. Y'all write that one down. The scriptures that I do have to go with it. But that's not necessarily what I was talking about when I said, and don't believe that they can become it or do it. Go ahead, Trooper Kaz, but that's a good precept, Bob.
Kind of like the 1B5.
What does it say?
Be ye therefore perfect, your Father with you in heaven.
Yeah, that's a good precept because we got to be the Father, but it's hard. Okay. I want to explain a good precept what I brought out. The best way I can is just to say that I is not that came before us could be if they did what they were supposed to be doing. You understand? Heaven is not our example. Yahweh Shah was our example. Moses was our example. The people that wrote about in this book, written aforetime, was for our learning, is a script that we brought out earlier. The old past earlier. And this is what we're talking about right now. Because true, when y'all brothers and get raised up Lord allow to get ready forward in this truth, some of the men are going to get old and they're not going to have the same responsibility. Now that responsibility is on you. There was one brother who sat right in my seat, and his job that he was given by the Most High school in Jacksonville, Florida, and he was over Florida before Officer Shawar. He's no longer here. Well, guess what? Just like Commanding General Yohana said, every Monday night, I'm at the helm now. The Lord gave me that responsibility. This is why we're going into Joshua. Moses could not go over. He's like, hey, look, man, I done took y'all as far as I can take y'all. Now is Joshua's turn. Thus, so you all the questions you can right now from the men that's here. Ain't no guarantee. The Lord can take anybody he wants to out of this truth at the drop of a hat. Next thing you know, a brother that was your idol one, you don't see him no more. It's possible. Where are the men at that raised up Commanding General Yohana? Where the men that was over General Muhammad in the Philly school? Israelite, you got white people in it. Understand, right? All of that to go back to where we was at. Go ahead, Trey.
I just wanted to add this.
Go ahead and read it.
James chapter 5, verse 10. My brethren, the prophet who have spoken in the name of the of suffering and of we count them happy, which indeed we have heard of the pain Job and have seen the end of the Most High. The path is very pitiful to mercy.
Yeah, Most High in Christ. That's a good precept. That's a good precept. It's exactly what I'm saying. That's the whole point of what I'm bringing out. All of these brothers that you're going to run across in this Bible that served the Lord and was rewarded for serving the Lord, that got the blessing, follow their example, and then what you'll learn is how to teach other men to follow that example, your example, right? That's what we read in Jeremiah 6 and 16. The reason why you can do that is because everything around you is going to change. The president going to change. The sheriff going to change. You know what I'm saying? People's emotions and feelings is going to change. But the Lord don't change. And we'll get to that. Right now, let's go back to where we was at. Joshua 1, and we was at verse 5. Or we was at verse 4, but we'll go ahead and go to verse 5. Oh, Salaki, at verse 3, where he says, did we read that? You read verse 3? All right, let's go to verse 5. I wanted to make it in verse 3 is, if you're doing what the Lord said to do, you got to trust that the Lord will be with you just like he was with Moses. And this is what he was telling Joshua. Think about this as you a brother, you serving, you know, like right now, General Muhammad, he's serving General Yohana. And then when that authority be with him, you got to trust that the Lord going to be with you just like he was with the man above you, just like he was before you. Only way to do that is if you walk in the same spirit that they walked in. If you don't water it down and you stand for this truth just like they did. And this is what the Lord told Joshua. Go to verse 5. Go ahead.
Joshua chapter 1, verse there shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses.
As I was with who?
With Moses.
I was with the men that came before you that did the work of the Lord.
As I was with Moses, so I will be with you.
He's also going to be with you. As he was with the people that was your example, he's also going to be with you. If you doing what they doing, which is serving the Lord, he's also going to be with you. Keep going.
God, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
Now tell me how the Lord can be with Joshua the same way he was with Moses. Tell me how the Lord can be with you the same way he was with Christ. Somebody tell me how. Go ahead.
By following the example of the man above you, and and being a good example.
And is we one body, right? So if I'm doing the work of the Lord and the Lord is with me, what's your guarantee that if you do the work that I was doing, that the Lord is going to be with you? Somebody give me Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. Go ahead.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Most High, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Everybody get that, right? Everybody get that, right? The Most High don't change. That's why. The work don't change. It's the same work that the brothers stepped out and decided to do back in 1969. That's the same work that needs to be done right now. It don't change. The Most High don't change. That's how we know that just like the Most High was with Christ, that he's going to be with you. Shalaki, 1 second. Get this together. All right. Let me get John 13. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Ottawa, the Christian church say, no, Christ came, so Most High Challenge came. We need that pork chop now.
The Christian church say a lot of things, Trey. Christian church say a lot of things. That's why we read Romans 15. It says, what was written aforetime was written for our learning, that we may have hope, right? The things that wrote in the Old Testament, this quote unquote Old Testament, was written. That's how you know Christ was who he was, and that's how we can have hope, and that's why none of it ever changes. Somebody give me John 13 and 12. If everybody on this line, it might have been your first Passover, I believe, except one person. This is very important. And go ahead.
John 13 and 12, you said, sir? I got it right here for you.
Yeah, you also was the brother that was at the Passover. But anyway, go ahead.
So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garment and was sat down again. He said unto them, know ye what I have done to you?
This is what Yahushua to his brothers. You know what I'm saying? He's washing their feet to show them something. Go ahead.
And other one, and ye say, well, for so I am.
You call me your Lord. You call me your master. You call me your other one, right? And you're right. I am. Go ahead.
God, and by then, your other one and master have washed your feet. Ye also ought to wash one another's feet.
What does this mean? Is this really about washing feet? What is this about? What is he talking about? Whoever was first. Tight officer in the shot. Let me see if the young man knows. Go ahead.
He was saying that as he gave us an example and he's been our ensign and he's shown us mercy, that we should do for our brothers and sisters, that we can get the opportunity to have the mercy bestowed yet as we have had it.
That's a little, I don't think I'm that smart enough to understand what you're saying. Break it down to me like a 3-year-old. I'm saying, if then your Lord and Master have washed your feet, wash another's feet.
So like,
go ahead.
Well, your neighbor as your
Somebody want to help the brother out? Go ahead.
Would it be he's saying to like humble yourself?
If I'm your Lord, if I'm your Adawan, right, and I'm humble enough to wash your feet, then you need to humble yourself when you do. He wasn't talking about you going around and washing everybody's feet. It was an example. You don't believe me, do you? Give me verse 15, whoever was reading.
Concert. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you.
Remember when we was reading, before, it was saying that you should be an example, not being Lord over the people. When you give an authority or rank, like for household, even in your household, nobody tells you what to do, but you need to be an example of what the wife need to be. How the hell you gonna expect them to keep when you ain't keeping it? How you gonna expect them to be in order when you ain't in order? How you gonna expect them to study when you ain't studying? To eat the right things when you don't eat the right things? Rank comes with responsibility. And every one of y'all in here are going to get rank as long as you do what the man above you is doing and telling you and teaching you to do, and learn how to teach other men to do the same thing. Everybody understand that, right? All right. Anybody got any questions on that? All right. Give me verse 16 now. About 5 minutes, they'll come and kick us out. We'll do like a little 5-minute break, and then we'll go ahead and finish the class. All right. Go ahead.
Verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his other one. Even he that is sent greater than he that sent him.
Go ahead.
Come.
You see that? You ain't. It says the servant ain't greater than his Lord. Neither is Yahushua greater than the Most High. He's only doing what the Lord telling him to do. You should do the same thing, what the man above you telling you to do. But at the same time, if you understand why you doing it, then you should end up being happy to be able to do it, the work of the Lord. All right. I got Zechariah, I believe that's what it is, 5:1, or Zephaniah 5:1. Give me Zephaniah 5:1. Somebody hold Nahum 1 and 2. I don't know what's there or what it got to do. I kind of went through the scriptures I had. If y'all ain't know, class started at 6 o'clock. Most High in Christ, y'all brothers be in here every week. Go ahead.
Now you only got 2 chapters.
All right, so it ain't that right. I don't even got the full out thing. It just say ZE. May or may not have anything to do with it. It might just be some scriptures I jotted down for my. Anybody got Nahum 1 and 2? All right. Go ahead.
Nahum, chapter 1, verse 2. Is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord
the library closed in 10 minutes.
All right, we'll be out. All right, read it again. Read it again, huh?
God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemy.
All right, yeah, I got that. It's another thing that we about to go into. So hold that scripture. Well, 1 and 2. That's a different. It don't go with that. You know what I'm saying? That don't go with what we just went over. Anybody got that Zechariah 5:1 real quick? Go ahead.
Zechariah 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lift up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
All right, that's a chariot scripture. That don't have anything to do with it either. All right, so what we'll do is, anybody got any questions over what we went over about being an example and following one? All right, go ahead.
It's really not a question about getting it or following one. So we read one scripture, and I think it was, in Hebrews. Verse 15. And basically it was saying that the people, I think it was saying that they didn't fear, they feared the law and not the Most High. And I just want to make sure that looking at it the right way.
Yeah, what it was saying is they feared death. The death of the to to execute them. We didn't understand that it was the Most High that had them They didn't understand it was the Most High that had them had the priest actually doing it. Is the best way for me to say it.
Said that way, like fear, you know, being the Most High.
They feared the judgment is what not the law. They wasn't afraid of the law, but they was afraid of the judgment.
Right, like judgment, you know, if you don't keep the law, then you get the judgment.
Correct.
Yeah.